There's going to be 2 to 3 minutes of gag reel that'll be on the disc.
Good.
So no one's seen the film. No one's seen the gag reel. No one's seen anything. Mm-hmm. Can you give us a moment that you think might be on the gag reel from set?
Oh, my God. Well, anytime Pratt's around. Then again, I say that the standout nonsense player lately has been Hemsworth. And also just the journey that Thor goes on in Infinity War and beyond is, to me, it's just amazing, you know, and he's all that. So always loved the Guardians. You know, any time that I did anything with Rudd, I think that's probably going to play pretty well. If there's ever a chance that Paltrow and Favreau happen to be within 100 miles of each other, that always works. It could damn well be anything.
And as the Godfather,
yes.
Do you have a go-to must-have Marvel Cinematic Universe film of all the 19 that this is now?
Wow. Well, I'm a bit of an Origins guy, so I would say watch the first in any series, because that's really the one where it's like a newborn foal. It's a little shaky on the legs, and then you're like, how is it walking so quick? So yeah, the first of any of them.
And to wrap up, last question. We've heard great things over the last day or two about off-set lunches and parties and hosts by Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
How? Tell us a little bit about
that. All right,
that.
I used to call myself the head of the acting department. Now I was given the name the Godfather, or the Bob Father. I've heard that said too. But now what I am is a very comfortable and lazy event coordinator. That's essentially what I do now. So bar mitzvahs, parties, weddings, after parties, and certainly production lunches. That's something that I special in.
Goat was served. There was a goat roast.
There was. Where did you hear this? Yeah, and I'm trying to think why. Oh, because the chef said, you know, sometimes you're in Georgia. She said, you know, I have a backyard and I could probably roast a whole pig, but it's a whole thing. I got to dig a hole. And I was like, jeez. I was like, well, we're going to need that. And then it just seemed a little less brutal, but even stranger that there was a cloven-hoofed animal brought to her. It got very medieval that day, I'll tell you that much. And I'm told the goat's name was known. The goat had a pretty nice life before it was ended prematurely for our needs. Look, the whole world should be heading towards being vegetarian, but until then, like, you know, don't give me any guff. Once the thing's already been offed, I mean, if I got offed, I would rather be served while I still tasted good.
From the trailer, it looks like the two of you have some fun interaction, banter. What was it like working together?
Exhausting.
It was tiring, man. You know, Benedict's a real diva, and...
She says. Oh, Tom needs his hair doing again, does he? Right.
I had a lot of it. I was making 2 films at once, right? And we were making 2 films together at the same time.
2 syllables, 1 word. Pomade.
And in the film that we were making together in London, I had a very old school haircut where I had those 3 curls like this, and then a massive swoop. So then I got to Avengers and they were like, we want to cut your hair, and I felt really passionately about the London project, and I said, well guys, listen, if there's any way we can work around not cutting my hair because I don't want to jeopardize my work in London, they said, sure, we'll just make it that Spider-Man has really long hair. So in this film I have the most ridiculously coiffed, stupid haircut of all time.
I was actually joking, but that is a lot revealed about your hair.
If in the I saw it in the trailer, I was like, oh, that just looks ridiculous. I look like Prince Charming. I look like I've got some weird flowing...
There's an audience, there's a very big Disney audience that will like that.
Yeah, and you might get an endorsement.
Sorry, I just went on a real rant. Maybe I'll do like a L'Oreal commercial or something after this film comes out.
That sounds amazing. It does. It really does.
It's great. I mean, I would like to say the bonding agent is Thanos, a.k.a. Josh Brolin. Greatest, awesomest actor. But, you know, there's so many talented people and there's so many different characters, putting them all together and characteristics together. It makes it fun, man. It's just a roller coaster ride. It's amazing. I don't know what he's talking about. Bonding agent is M'Baku. M'Baku's throwing a lot of people again. Sleeper hits of the movie. M'Baku for the win. I don't know what he's talking about.
movie's all about.
Spoiler! It's
M'Baku.
It's not Tom Holland, that's for sure.
He's come for all the stones. M'Baku's gonna get the Rosetta Stone.
All of it.
All of it. He's got the Soul Stone.
So, where do we find Winter Soldier when this film begins?
You find him in Wakanda, hanging out with M'Baku.
Hanging out.
And then, you know, kind of like getting in there.
I'm in Wakanda too. Chilling out.
Everybody's.
Yeah, I guess recently he was also visited by Sam Wilson. Sam brought him a small present.
Yeah, we go down to the beach, we hang out down by the beach.
And then, you know, they've kind of settled some of their old pastime, you know, kind of struggles, and then here we are.
Good.
Then we rent a yacht, we go down to Trinidad and Tobago, come back up, hit Cuba. Next thing you know, we here for press.
Done.
Ta-da! And Wakanda plays a role in the film, obviously, because you see it in the trailer.
Yeah.
Tell us what Wakanda means in this film.
Well, I feel where you left off in the last movie is Wakanda's opened up their borders. They've agreed to share their vibranium, and you're going to get to see what that means in this world.
Ooh, you know
The world's never seen that before, and you've never seen it either.
You know
There's
about
a lot
that
of
vibranium.
threats.
Hashtag vibranium life.
Hashtag vibranium life. You know what that is, boy.
You're going to get a lot of visitors then.
For
That's
real.
for sure.
A lot of visitors.
He put some vibranium in his hair. That's why it's so long and glossy. You
I know where I'm going to put my vibranium.
Hey,
That's a good way.
that's another movie.
Thanos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bring it down. Wait the conversation down. Villain. Awful guy. Tell us about Thanos.
Thanos is a sociopath.
Wow, he's reckless with his power. He's reckless.
I mean, no, well, I don't know if he's reckless because he's very calculated. He knows what he's after. but
Calculatedly
I want to know
reckless.
why he got the way he is. That's what I
That
want
was
to know.
what
what did
happened?
to you guys. He's a cool
Yeah.
guy. I think he's
He's very
misunderstood.
angry. He needs to go to church.
I
He's
think
very angry.
Thanos is a regular guy like everybody else. Puts his pants on one leg at a time.
No,
I think-
no. I don't
What?
think he takes his pants off.
That's going to
Showers
make
in
it
his
a
pants.
hell of a lot
He
worse.
I think he
in his
showers in his pants.
Showers in his
Yeah.
pants.
Yeah.
But I think what's really cool about Thanos is that mix of like intellect and brawn. So he's really smart. You can't just think of him as just a mad brawler. He's, he's great like that. And that's
purple.
and purple.
He's got those stones.
And purple. Purple. Yeah.
He's got the
Cool color.
stones.
It's a royal color.
Champagne purple.
Hey.
So now, tell us about the working with Russo brothers. How was it working with them?
That's great.
So-
You know, the really fun part about working with the Russos is two of them. So you get two different perspectives, but with the same idea at hand. You know, they always get together and talk about what they want their direction to be, and then they come to us and kind of guide us in the direction of what the overall story of the movie is. Because in these movies, the scope is so large, you can get lost at times, if you're not brought in by them in every morning to figure out what it is. And they're very good about keeping actors in the loop, telling you where you are, what's going on, and what's happening after, which if most actors, if you give them a beginning and an end, their job is to fill in the middle, and they're very good at it.
And keeping the whole set feeling light.
Yeah. And they bring you soup.
Yeah.
They bring you soup.
Soup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And goat.
Every
Yeah.
Friday night.
Anthony
Friday.
Russo, good soup. That guy has good soup.
That guy, good
That
soup.
guy, you get good soup.
And there was a goat roast, right? Someone else has
They
mentioned.
who
there was
talk
a-
about the goat?
This
Somebody
is the
talked about
thing.
the goat.
It's
Don't
going
bring up
around.
the goat. Who brought up the goat?
The goat is going around. He did.
I did.
Yeah.
The goat is
on the final
going
day for our cast, not
Yeah,
the
we
Wakanda
weren't there,
guys.
Winston and I.
RDJ's chef,
man.
Robert Downey Jr.'s chef, this amazing woman, amazing cookstress, got a goat. She dug a hole in the middle of a parking lot and she roasted a goat. A whole goat!
Sounds really.
And we ate the goat.
sanitized.
And she, for the crew, it was goat. It was goat everywhere. It was goat shakes,
Good
goat
goat.
salad.
Good goat.
It was goat sandwiches. There was leftover goat for a goat salad the next day.
Feel about being a part of this milestone in the MCU.
Grateful.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a milestone in cinema. I
Yes.
feel like no other film has been able to culminate a 10-year span, 18 movies in 2 films. I
I'm
feel like
really
what-
excited to see this movie
Yeah,
on
what
Monday.
Marvel
Like
has been able
I'm
to
looking,
do-
I'm talking about it. I'm realizing we haven't seen the movie, so
Yeah.
it's like, it's gonna be, it's gonna be amazing.
And right, you shouldn't, because everybody should see it at the right time. And when it drops, the internet's gonna break.
It's a
homie.
great time
Broke
to be
internet. Avengers 2018. Check your neck. Wi-Fi out.
Is Shuri ready for Thanos?
Shuri's ready for anything.
Of course. Man. I'm ready.
Ready to go?
Plus, it's super competitive and aggressive on set. And Marvel has really managed to foster sort of,
lots of jealousy and
a
rage.
lot of jealousy and rage amongst the different
Yeah,
teams.
man, it's so difficult to get along
Yeah,
with
you
everybody.
too.
And then they put us all in a
Oh, I thought you
room
were
for
saying I was.
hours.
No, like just with everyone, like the trailers all squashed together and the trailer problem.
But being serious about it.
So tired.
We've been they're big movies, right? But movies usually feel the same, small or big or whatever. But I remember one day driving in the morning and it was still dark, and I thought, God, we're shooting in the middle of nowhere in the wilderness, and yet we're driving down into a town, and then I realized that it was just the trailers, because all of our trailers were there, lit up, ready for us, and it was just enormous.
The stunt team's trailers and our doubles trailers. There's like 3 of each of us running around, and there's 30 of us.
Tell me a fun moment, either on screen or off screen, that you guys can relate to.
Well, I mean, on screen, what we were just talking about earlier was there's just like this hilarious moment where lots of people have to say difficult words, and Paul's constantly making jokes about everything on and off set. And when we move from being on set, we then move to a tent, and we're all like this
gathered
in a
around
circle,
in a tent,
and all we do is just continue to just laugh and make jokes and have a good time. And you were confused that you were allowed to laugh or something on set, because we were just breaking and laughing all the time.
Yeah,
it's a really good time.
So she just outed you as the jokester, right? Is that?
Yeah, well, Paul's the jokester.
Ruffalo and Ruffalo.
Paul and Ruffalo are like a married couple. They're like the odd couple.
You know what? That's true.
They're like the odd couple. They're constantly bickering about real things and fake things.
Confused about it. Like, what are you talking about?
It's pretty. It's pretty entertaining.
That sounds entertaining.
Yeah.
We should film that too. Maybe.
Put that on the internet.
So where do we find your characters, real briefly, quickly, where do we find your characters at the beginning of Infinity Wars?
You find Shuri in her lab working away and wondering why her brother has invited his purple friends over. That do people that do stuff and change the weather, and who are these people? That's what she's thinking.
You find us in Edinburgh.
Yes, we're
having
in Edinburgh.
A date night.
Date night.
In Scotland, we're in Edinburgh, and she is a fugitive from the law. I'm trying not to be purple because we're incognito, and we're
trying to have find normalcy in a relationship with a robot and a witch.
That's Tangled.
It's pretty complex stuff.
Oh, I don't want to be you guys. I'm sticking to Wakanda, where
you know
there's
what?
normalcy.
There should be like relationship therapist scenes.
That'd be so funny in our spinoff.
So funny.
So
we're writing a spinoff for ourselves.
Not to put any spoilers, and this is the last question. Are the fans, supporters going to get more Vision fashion? Is there going to be, there's a cry for Vision from the previous film in the sweater.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, because I think he was trying to go.
That sweater was great.
Yeah,
really
I think he was trying to go for a sort of Cary Grant thing, and now he's sort of
trying to be cooler.
Fashion experts are waiting to know what Vision is going to pull out.
I think you'll be pleased. I think they'll be pleased. There's a little Crombie there. I think Crombie coat, and yes.
While we were making this film, a lot of fun things happened. It was really nice to peer into the process that the Avengers have, which is slightly different than the process for the Guardians. Making a film like the Avengers, they just approach it slightly differently than we have with the Guardians. Robert Downey Jr. is an amazing lead, and you could tell that he was really celebrating this film and being with the cast, because he would host these massive lunches at his base camp and invite everybody, and they'd be like roasting a goat, and he'd have like music and props, and he's like really a kind of guy who's a champion for actors on these type of sets. And a movie like this monumental, you know, you can kind of get swept up in the process and end up working so many hours through the course of the day. And Downey's has enough experience and wisdom that he's like, no, we're going to work as many hours. We're going to work 10 hours, and at 10 we're done. And like he makes sure that the actors are really protected and that we're enjoying the process and that we're like he totally included all of us. It was really nice. And so you definitely, I feel like I learned and leveled up by watching him, because I'm thinking that's how you should do it. If you can, and you have the power, make the process even more enjoyable for the people. And don't work so hard. Stop sometime. Not that he doesn't work hard, but stop and smell the roses. I think it was really nice way. Yeah,
I seen both of you on screen. I don't think it was too far of a level up. I think it may have done a level, but you guys are great chemistry on screen.
Oh, thank you.
Give us such enjoyment in all the films. Can't wait for this one. What does it feel like to be a part of this milestone MCU event?
It feels to be a part of something as eventful as Avengers Infinity War, and having all of these characters from different comics come together into one plot, one story for the sake of peace was exciting. It was a ton of work, but it was fun, and we really got to learn. And, you know, I feel like I also had an opportunity for Gamora to flesh out a little bit about her past and explain why she's so rigid and why she's so reserved, and how, you know, we tackled so many issues like relationships between parents and father and daughters, and relationships between partners, lovers, friends, you know, and so we didn't shy away from real relatable issues, just because this was a film that is set in space with a ton of like fictitious characters.
Yeah.
And lastly, sum this experience up in one word. Each of you, one word.
I'm gonna use no words. I'm gonna use 2 emojis. Let's use these emojis. Okay.
Everyone's been talking about how there was no fun offset making this film.
Never.
It was fun when Josh Brolin wasn't around. As soon as Josh comes on the set, it's like Debbie Downer's here.
Oh, he's here. I think right off the bat, Drax is, as well as the rest of Guardians, and as well as the rest of the Marvel Universe, is just super impressed with Thor, we're just in awe of him. He's just like this god man. We just can't, and when we first meet him, we're just visually, we just can't get over how perfect he is. And Drax just wants to point it out over and over and over in just the most ridiculous ways of how handsome and perfect this specimen is.
How proportional. And they're so proportional.
Who is the better villain to grace the MCU stage? Loki or Thanos?
I mean, well, I've had a little bit more time to build my case, I think. It depends on what you class as better, I suppose. Loki, I think, is accessible, relatable, vulnerable, charming, better dressed, generally more stylish, witty, charismatic, and Thanos is more purple.